The countdown to the big B-Day or the Union Budget presentation by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is right around the corner on 23rd July. So here we are with the Urban Agenda special on the upcoming Union Budget and how we can make your dream home more within your reach and make our cities collectively more livable. I'm Manisha Natarajan, and joining me for this special discussion are Anuj Puri, Chairman and Founder of Anarock Property Consultants Private Limited. Also with us, Sanjay Dutt, MD and CEO of Tata Realty and Infrastructure Limited. All right, before I go on to the discussion, here are some quick points on the announcements that were made in the interim budget that gave us a sense of the NDA government's focus on boosting real estate and urban infrastructure in particular. There was a large allocation of 11.11 lakh crore rupees for infrastructure capital expenditure in FY25, which was perhaps the most celebrated announcement across sectors, industry, economists and experts. Adoption of e-buses and promotion of electric buses for public transport networks to reduce urban pollution and promote sustainable mobility was another area of focus in the interim budget. The interim budget also committed to strengthening India's e-vehicle ecosystem by providing support for manufacturing as well as charging infrastructure. So that's another key point, and we will hear something about it, I'm sure, again. Expansion of existing airports and developments of new regional airports under Udan scheme was outlined, though the budgetary allocations for both was reduced in the interim budget. Let's see if that changes. Promotion of urban transformation through metro rail projects and Namo Bharat initiatives were reiterated. It's noteworthy that in 2014, we had 240 kilometers of metro rail operational in 5 cities of India. But by 2024, we have about 945 kilometers of metro rail lines that are operational across 21 cities, and another 919 kilometers are under construction in 26 cities. The interim budget in February 2024 also outlined its commitment to affordable housing. And in the very first cabinet meet after the formation of NDA 3.0, the government announced an additional outlay for another 1 crore homes under PMAY Urban. So, with that note, Anuj Puri, connectivity, mobility, airports and affordable housing, all of these have a big impact on the livability of a city as well. So, let's start with your overall expectations from this year's budget to keep the economy strong and the sector strong.
First of all, thank you, Manisha, for having Sanjay and me. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. Not only that the infrastructure has been, the outlay has been large, but in actual implementation also, you can see physically infrastructure coming in. If you were to talk about real estate, Manisha, hopefully 2024 calendar year will be the best ever year that we would have seen for residential sales. And even for commercial leasing, and Sanjay may talk about that a bit more, but it's a big, bold statement that I'm saying is that it will be the best ever year that we would have seen on both these sectors, residential and commercial. Yet, to answer your question, Dil mange more, So, can there be things that can be done? I would say is maybe 3 or 4 points that can be done. And these are all genuine asks. First is, Manisha, is that the tax rebate that has been there for sort of 2 lakh rupees for a very, very long time under Section 24 of the Income Tax Act. I think that does need to be relooked at, and I'm hoping that this budget, that gets addressed. The second is, Manisha, very nice thing what, the government had bought in pre-COVID called a Swami Fund, which was the stalled projects, largely in NCR and in many tier 2, tier 3 towns. These were funded by the government-sponsored real estate fund for completion, has been super effective. I mean, it's amongst one of the, really positive schemes that have been implemented really well. I do feel is that that funds needs more capital, maybe another 40, 50,000 crores to be able to complete. those stalled projects, because we've seen the way that it has positively impacted the confidence of the buyer, and the homeowners who had not got those projects, they've been able to get it.
Correct.
The third one, again, to your point, Manisha, I do feel is somewhere, whilst PMAY has done very well and there is an additional allocation that has been given by the government, I do feel the private sector has been a laggard on the affordable housing. And pre-COVID, there was about 38% of the overall sales which used to be on affordable housing. That's come down to 20% in Q1 of this financial year. So really, how do you boost that? And that's where, 3 or 4 asks will be to boost affordable housing supply, from the private sector. And maybe as we go through the show, I will sort of enumerate those 3 or 4.
We'll come back because that's the area of a deeper discussion on how do we boost that affordable housing. But yes, you've really outlined it well. So Sanjay, here's what I'm going to come. Yes, dil mange more, but the finance minister and all the experts are going to say housing sales are doing extremely well. Why are we going to tinker? Economy is clocking 8% plus growth. Fiscal deficits are well within targets. Tax collections are strong. If I look at all of these things, do I really need to increase the home loan rebates from 2 lakh to 5 lakh? Do I really need to make any big shifts? What would your answer be?
My answer would be very clear, Manisha, that this is a big yes. And the reason is, Anuj and all of us know property is a cyclical business. And it's linked to a cycle when you see demand surge and supply follows. At some stage, it's not sustainable. And to sustain that growth, you need to ensure that you take certain steps today so that 3 years from now and 4 years from now, we don't suffer. So the key point is that how can you make this sustainable? I think one good news, Manisha, is for the first time in last 30 years of my professional journey, I've seen manufacturing sector coming in beside the services. And this is a big plus for tier 2, tier 3 and rural areas of the country. So we are not discussing those top metros in 14 cities. We're discussing 70, 80 cities or districts which are now progressing. And if that can continue, that would be a big boost to the sector. I think for affordable homes, I want to be very direct. I think they should make 2 lakh rupees exemption per annum to 5 lakh rupees straight away. Third, the affordable definition should move to 1 crore rupees, especially in the metro cities, because they all are law-abiding, tax-paying citizens of this country who are struggling to own home. And on the other side, even if we want to rent these properties, we are taxed. So that's another area, in my opinion. And the big ask for me is, and the word and an expression that I'm using very boldly today on the call is unshackle real estate. And when I say unshackle real estate is, you please do not charge this sector beyond 45% tax. So from land acquisition to construction and steel and cement tax to basically, GST on JV and JDAs, all the way to the buyer of a home, the tax and the property taxes that eventually that we pay as developer during the development. If you exceed the tax beyond 50%, the developers will not be profitable. The developments will not be profitable. The banks will be under stress. And then we will need more money for Swami Fund to, give them the last mile funding.
All right. So let's now talk about affordability, which is the missing puzzle in India's home boom right now. So Anuj, I'm going to come back to you. So you said, yes, just to explain to our audience, the reason why 2 lakhs to 5 lakh interest exemption makes a lot of sense on home loans is because it suddenly adds to the affordability, right? But go ahead and take it forward from here on what are the other 3-4 things which can be done for the home buyer and then for the developer to actually increase the supply of affordable homes. We'll break it down in 2 parts.
So I'll take it forward from where Sanjay left, Manisha. The first one is the definition of affordable housing itself.
I myself am uncomfortable with that 1 crore definition. If you look at what India earns, right, the middle income family earns, 1 crore is not a home that they will be able to afford. It might be your ask, but here's my request to both of you. Let's try and limit it to 75 lakhs and say, how do we increase the supply of 25 to 75 lakh homes? Here's the price target that I've given you, Anuj and Sanjay. Anuj?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we can do 75 lakhs, but, Manisha, 45 lakhs is today where the limit is. I mean, a city like Bombay, to get 45 lakh rupee home is going to be a, challenge. Can it be done? I think as the infrastructure continues to get laid and larger land parcels get connected with the main city, it can be done. But today it may be tough to do 45 lakhs.
Maybe we can have a separate definition for Mumbai. But then to have a blanket 75 lakhs, I don't think is a fair ask.
And I don't think Sanjay is saying that either. I think Sanjay is also saying is that, do it city-wise, have a criteria that some of the cities which do demand that kind of, value, you will have to increase the value, and you can't have, sort of one brush paint all. At this moment in time, that is what is happening. Is so maybe that 45 lakh needs to go to 60 or 75 lakhs, or for a city like Mumbai, even touch 90 lakh 1 crore, or limited to 75. But 45 lakhs is, to my mind, what is restricting, and that's why if you look at it, the data that we are producing actually is incorrect in a way, Manisha, that it is getting out of the affordable housing definition, yet the buyer is actually an affordable housing buyer. Because in 45 lakhs, that buyer is not getting anything. As a result of which we are saying is that he is not buying or she is not buying affordable housing. The moment you increase this definition from 45 lakhs to 75 lakhs, you will see the percentage, which was, as I said, is, before COVID in 2019.
Should we not change the definition to mid-income housing and have a separate one for affordable? Like under the CLSS scheme, Anuj, you do have a mid-income housing. So now, because, luxury has now encompasses everything above 1 crore. Then there is a premium category which encompasses everything above 45 lakhs to 1 crore, right? But there is no middle income. And actually what all three of us are talking about is a mid-income house for a mid-income family, correct?
Yes. You are absolutely spot on, Manisha. It is the mid-income maybe the PMAY does the more affordable housing, and, we are wanting to address, the buyer who is in that 45 lakhs to 75 lakh rupee category. So that is where, that's the first thing that I'm saying is, second is you will need to bring in tax incentives for the developers under 80 IB, because, they are today not incentivized to do these smaller homes. The bigger homes, the premium homes, the luxury homes, are selling. And data is all showing that they are doing exceptionally well. Now, these are private developers. Many of them are listed as well. They have to look at their own stakeholders. Now, if somewhere they are able to make a higher margin in the luxury or the premium, why would they want to go into the affordable housing? The only way that you will be able to attract is that if you do give them tax benefits, that's when your supply will come in. Manisha, there is no dearth of demand for the affordable housing. It's largely a supply-led market. And because the developers are doing well on the luxury and the premium, they're not building affordable. To excite them, you will have to bring in, tax benefits for these guys. And the other thing is that you have to bring in the credit-linked subsidy scheme, which we had stopped, the CLSS, that will need to be brought in back to be able to, benefit the home buyer who's looking to, it just helps the home buyer to buy that affordable housing.
80 IB, that is literally 100% exemption for affordable homes. And we are saying also change the category to up to 75 lakh projects, right? Sanjay, do you really think it's a valid demand?
It's a valid demand. And I want to make one more point in addition to what Anuj said. We are looking at prices have gone up as if we bought the land at historical values. The new land parcels the developers are buying, Manisha, are buying now at 100% premium. So the raw material is costing more for the developer. And therefore, the point I was making is not sustainable. So I agree with Anuj that these incentives will help attract to affordable homes.
All right. So we have Swami Fund still to discuss. Stay with us. It's an important conversation. We'll come back and talk about that. upcoming union budget bring in good news for improving city infrastructure and bring in right-priced housing stock? That's what we are discussing. But one other important question is the houses or the units or projects which are incomplete still have been stuck for years on end, leaving buyers extremely disappointed. Swami Fund is a special fund which was set up for reviving these projects. It's done extremely well. Sanjay, 25,000 crore was set aside for it. Anuj mentioned right at the top of the show that maybe we need another 50,000 crores allocated to a government-sponsored funds for reviving these projects. Tell me, will that work? Because even Swami does not take in projects or fund projects which have nothing left in them. They also, at the end of it, do want to recover their capital and make some money.
Manisha, first of all, the industry needs 100,000 crores fund. I'm not suggesting that's what we should set up, but we should definitely double it. Swami Fund was last mile funding for affordable homes. I think we should extend that to bid housing at least, and that will also be very helpful. Also, the job that Swami Fund has done is increasingly, complimented by everybody, and I think it has also helped NBFC and lenders to also think through properly, and they are now much better placed to help the project, improve better. So if we have projects and issues, you can have early in the cycle of the project this Swami Fund participation, therefore not necessarily do a damage control, which is what Swami Fund did. So I think continuation of Swami Fund and extra, allocation is definitely a need of the hour. And you can also invite private players in the distress fund. There are many players, Manisha, who are very keen to be part of this because they've seen that this is tried and tested, and there is an opportunity for the sector to play.
But there are asset reconstruction funds, and they should take them up, but they don't because there's nothing left in them to recover or make money on, and none of the private ARCs will work if there is no money to be made in a project which is in distress. Anuj, am I incorrect in my understanding? And also give me a little bit of flavor of how the new Swami Fund or new funding within Swami should be structured to help a lot many more projects and not just what the government has termed as affordable homes.
I think two parts. One is, Manisha, the others, including ARC and other banks, are unable to do this is because Swami has one
special
preference,
status.
One special status, which means is they are above everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else as the lender gets relegated.
Correct.
To the junior position is, if, and I think Sanjay is saying that only, if some of the other institutions like SBI, Kotak, HDFC, etc. are given similar opportunity, they may also want to set up a similar fund where you are relegated at the senior most. That means you come in last. You are the first one that exits. Whatever money is balance left then gets divided amongst the lenders. The priority remains paramount that the home buyer should get their home first. And that is what the government had done it. I also think is that the government did a great job in being able to implement this. And on top of it, Manisha, the rate of interest is like 11, 12, 13%. I mean, some of these ARCs are like, 16, 18%. So there lies the difference between the two. What else can be done is, I think even in the current scheme, Manisha, there is still between 50,000 crores to a 1 lakh crore requirement so that these stalled projects can still pick up, even if you were to just continue with the current scheme. I do feel is that there has to be two things that will need to be added is one, get this up to the mid-level housing. Don't only leave it for the affordable housing. Plus also, Manisha, it's a little bit of confusion. What happens if in a project, there are mid-level housing and affordable housing? Then, can you complete the project or you can't complete the project given that the permit of Swami is only on affordable? So do enhance that definition in there.
I think it's already enhanced a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time. Quickly, if you could complete. Anuj?
Yeah, the second one that I would say is that this is only where there are aggrieved home buyers. So Swami Fund cannot operate if there are not aggrieved home buyers. I do feel is those definitions need to change is that you should be allowed to fund, relatively newer projects that have got stuck but did not have aggrieved home buyers.
It's a longer discussion. I'd like to understand what you mean by aggrieved home buyers. But yes, what you're saying and both of you saying is that expand the funding and expand the definition, and that itself will end up rescuing a lot of stuck projects. On that positive note, let's wrap out this special discussion. Anuj Puri, Sanjay Dutt, thank you so much for joining me. And to all my viewers, thanks so much for joining us on this special budget discussion. And of course, focus will be, if there's anything we hear, on making right-priced homes available and make affordability better for any middle-class family looking to buy a home in cities.